organizing thoughts before we get to this part, and then we're gonna go to tomorrow, and we're gonna actually fill this out tomorrow, and it's gonna be really fun. I'll give you a lot of time. As long as we work hard on it, I'll give you a lot of time on it. And then our middle events. So for the middle events, I had some different things. I started up here, and I was planning to draw this while I was over there, but that's just not gonna work. So I'll just talk you through it. Can we listen and do that? Does that work? Okay. So we set up camp as soon as we got there. After we got done hiking all the way up, we set up camp, got everything set, and then we went to bed. The next day, we woke up and hiked around, and just enjoyed being out in nature. And then this one, we woke up early and got all of our stuff together, packed everything up, and then we come to the climax, or kind of towards the ending. And this is when everything builds up. Either it's a turning point in your story, a climax, or kind of the big event of your story, and you lead up to that, and then we come all the way down after that. So for me, it was hiking when we got to the peak. So we got to the Notch is what it's called. And so we were at Upper Holland Lake, and then we went to Sapphire Lakes, and then we reached the peak. And then we came down. So here, I would say, my lesson or reflection from this experience, I felt a lot of joy and happiness from it. And I learned that I, next time, want to bring a little bit different food. We brought mostly granola bars, and I got really tired of eating granola bars and protein bars. So I want to bring different food next time. So this can be something you learn from your experience, or something you realize. I realized that you definitely don't want to pack extra things that you don't need when you backpack, because you're carrying it all on your back, and it gets really heavy. So this is where you put all the things you learned and discovered in that. Yes, Lee?
What is the Sapphire Lake and other lake in Montana?
I think there might be another Sapphire Lake. I feel like I've heard it before.
But where is the one you went to?
Do you guys know where Sealy Lake area is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's over there. If you're headed towards,
But
do you know where Swan is?
Is it in
That's
Montana?
where I live.
Okay,
Is
so
it in Montana?
it is in Montana,
Okay,
yes,
I know.
sorry. It's in Montana. So if you're headed towards Swan and then you keep going to Sealy, it's actually in between Swan and Sealy.
I go to Sealy all the time.
That's awesome. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a story arc, because that's how we're going to organize our thoughts before we get to the story. And so I'm going to need your guys' help, though, because we're going to write our story arc. And so some things I want to think about, though, before I go to my story arc. Jade, can I have you come out here?
Okay.
Thanks. Chase, can I have your eyes up here? Thank you. I want to ask myself these questions. Who was there? So who was there when I experienced it? Can anybody tell me who was there for my backpacking experience? Andre.
Your friend.
My friend, Nikki, yeah. So my friend was there, and it was just us two. So I only have, how many characters do I have, class?
2.
2. Right. So what did I see? Can anybody tell me kind of some things I saw? Ava.
Trees.
Trees, I saw trees. What else did you see in some of my pictures? Andrew.
You saw the flowers blooming and
I
the
saw the flowers.
waterfall.
Yep, and the waterfall. Is there anything else? Jade?
Maybe a little bit of snow. You said you saw snow.
Okay. I saw what?
Didn't say you saw
Snow.
I did, because it was late May, so there's still some snow, not a lot, but especially when we hiked all the way up to the peak here, saw some snow up there.
Did you play with it?
I did. Tessa?
mountains.
Mountains. I did see a lot of mountains, and I hiked through them. Julian. Oh, mountains. Okay. Grace?
You probably saw lots of animals.
I did see some animals.
And birds and their habitats and the lakes.
I did see a lot of habitats, you're right. Yeah.
Lakes.
Yep, I did see some lakes. John?
As you got higher, you could see like a preview.
I could, so I could see up pretty high and out over the valley, which was pretty cool. Yes, Luke?
What animals did you see? Like deer?
I saw mostly deer and squirrels. I saw some bear prints. I didn't see any bears, so that was
Scary.
I was very thankful for that. Okay, 4th question. What were my feelings? So, For me, I'm gonna answer this one. For me, my feelings were, but how could you guys, what are we learning in reading? How would you know how I was feeling? What's the word that I'm looking for? Tessa? Infer, exactly. So can you guys see how often you use inferring in real life? There were so many of you that just raised your hands because you could infer how I was feeling based off of just the little storyboard that I created. That's pretty awesome. Way to be listening and reading as well. So what were my feelings? I was feeling excited, I was loving it, and we can understand, especially the feeling part. This is our feeling box. Not saying that you can't add feeling other places, but we need to make sure we have feeling in that box. Yes, Chase?
Do you want to name the trail that you're going on?
Yes, it's just called Upper Holland Lake.
Oh.
Yep, you're hiking to Upper Holland Lake, and it's called Upper Holland Lake Trail. Okay, number 5, how did it end? So you need to think about this before we get started. How did the story end? Was it good ending? Was it a sad ending? We need to know how you're going to wrap up this story. Then 6, why do I remember this? I remember this because it was my first time backpacking, and I really enjoyed it. Sometimes you remember things because it wasn't very enjoyable. Other times you remember things because it was really enjoyable. So you have to have a reasoning. I bet you guys could all name a reason for why you are remembering your story and why it means something to you. So I want you guys to go back to your desk when I say go. Grace, can you put that down? When I say go, I want you to go back to your desk and I want you to answer each one of these questions. So we're gonna, in our journal, yeah. So we're gonna open our journal and we're gonna write ask myself at the top. Then what am I gonna need in the date, or I just gave it away. In the corner that I'm missing here.
Date.
Class?
Date.
The date, yes. So we're gonna put the date up there and then we're gonna answer each one of these questions.
About us or
About, yes. That's a great clarification. So you're gonna write it about your story, because this is gonna help us in the process towards making our story arc. Question.
What if you're not done explaining the character?
That's okay. We're gonna take a break from explaining the characters, and we're gonna move on to this, because I think you have a pretty good idea of what internal and external is, and you have an idea of what your characters are in your story now. So I think we're gonna be able to move on to just moving on to this. Yes, Tess.
If we finish early, will we be doing our characters?
Today,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna move on to story arc today if we have time. But if you would like to work on your characters more, I'm not sure we'll have more class time. I can see if we do, but I can't let you take your journals home because we need to keep them here. But if you want to, you can always take a piece of paper home, or at home you can work on a piece of paper and bring it in, and we can staple it into your notebook. So if you really want to get your characters done, we can do that at home. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and get started on our ask myself questions. Go. You're right. Make sure we don't hear one. Okay. Let's go. We don't need voices on for this. It's independent work, sir. New page. Yep, that's a great question. New page. Make sure our voices are at a 0 so everybody can concentrate and work. Yes, Eva.
Do we write ask ourselves down?
Yes. So we're gonna write ask myself, or you can say ask me, whatever you want to say. I just need a title at the top so I can understand what it is when I look through. But class, I looked through. That was yesterday that I looked through, and I really liked what I saw. It was really awesome. I enjoyed reading about your stories, and I made notes in there too for you, or I put a stamp. So you can check those out a little bit later, but go ahead and get started on our Ask Myself questions.
Do we answer the questions or write the question down?
That's another great question. We don't need to write the questions down, we'll just answer them. Yeah. Do you need some support?
Yes.
I'd love to support.
But are we able to write the questions?
We're not going to write the questions. I don't want to take time for that right now. We're just going to write the answers. So go ahead and write the number and then the answer altogether.
I was wondering, I wrote, my one was about stage test, and I wanted to write mine about going to California.
Do you want to switch it?
Yeah.
You can switch it.
Okay.
Okay, this is a great time to switch it. And then after this, if we can stick to the same one, that'd be awesome. complete sentences either for these. I've had a lot of great questions. So when I'm writing these down, all I would write here, who was there? Nikki and me. That's it. Nikki and I. Not Nikki and me. Nikki and I is probably good. What did I see? You could just list them under there. Okay? You don't need to write complete sentences right now. It's more to organize our thoughts. It's not to work on our writing and grammar right now. Yes. Okay. Great job. And you don't have to write the questions if you don't want to. You can just write the answers. But if you want to, you can. If that helps you organize. That's okay. Some of them you won't have a lot to say on, and that's okay. You're just going to answer the question. Yes. Who is there? This is the music part. MRS means Mrs. and that means they're married, and I'm Miss, so I'm just MS. They're not married. I'm not. How's it going? Great. What? How's it going, Chase? Are you struggling with seeing back there? Yeah? Okay. At the top? No, you don't, that's just, so we don't have to write anything. So then, if you just write a 1, then this is called a 1, and then you can move to 2. Your story. You're choosing one story. Which story have you chosen at this point, or do you want to choose? We're down to one story. Christmas? Okay, then you're just answering these questions out loud. Okay. No, so 1, the other question. Okay, if you have finished, you may work on your characters for a little while. We're gonna be done with that in 2 minutes. Okay, you're done with that? I'm gonna set the timer for 2 minutes, and then we'll move on to our next part.